So, not only do I believe personally that the putting is more or less just a push and a drop, especially with the help of the Torpedo, I also believe that what Jeff talks about in relation to grip pressure is sort of solved, at least partially solved, with the Torpedo. Because if you grab the Torpedo putter and you put your right hand behind your back and you start the putter back, just by virtue of getting it into the air, necessitates, on a scale of 0 to 10, or 1 to 10, what Jeff calls a grip pressure of 3. So a firm handshake, but not squeezing. So basically what I would call a 3 on Jeff's scale is just enough pressure, just enough grip pressure to actually get the putter up into the air. Now conventional putters, obviously, you have to consciously think a little bit more about that because you're much stronger with a conventional putter. But with a Torpedo, if you just think to yourself, okay, just enough pressure to get it up, that's sufficient. Now, I would encourage any of you with an old putter shaft laying around and a hunk of wood and a hacksaw blade to make your own putter, because I don't want you to think, I'm faking a bad stroke here. I'm going to do my best, but I don't have high hopes for right-handed putting. Well, that was terrible. Well, another slice, which is typical, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Folks who putt from a right-handed orientation tend to slice. That was a little better. But it's just not conducive to a repeatable stroke. Again, you're coming across your body. You're not tracking down the target line. Perfect. Okay? Now, some folks might find this a little controversial. Take it for what it's worth. Experiment at home. I also prefer to putt a little bit more open. And the reason for that is I find that, and I've tested many golfers, including quite a few professionals, and if you address the ball squarely while putting, in other words, your toes are aligned to the target line, what I tend to find is that when golfers think they're going straight back, they're really pronating. In other words, they're really inverting the putter like so, and then like so. And the evidence I have for this is that good golfers, professionals, and good amateurs alike, on their first several putts on this strip, almost invariably slice it. That is to say, it turns this way, which means they're coming across it this way at impact. Now, out of the dozens of people I've tested on this device, only a tiny handful have sliced one of the first 3 or 4 attempts. I'm sorry, hooked. So it's extremely rare for a golfer just to come up here cold turkey and to hook a putt. It almost never happens. So I began to ask myself, why is this? Could it have something to do with the dress? And I really believe it does. I believe that we shouldn't compare apples to oranges. A full swing is one thing. If you want to align to the target, if you want your feet to align to the target, more power to you. Although there are golfers that have successfully played with open stances. Probably most notably Lee Trevino. He was very open. But in putting, I believe that it is not an axiomatic thing. It is not a self-evidently superior thing to just copy the address of the full swing. The full swing is a far different animal. In putting, you want the putter to go back in such a way that it returns on a path that is more likely than not to not only be square at impact, but to arrive squarely.